I'm Emma.
And I'm Ellie.
And together we are E Squared.
Welcome back to another episode of Campus Chronicles.
The show brought to you by students for students.
And what are we doing today, Emma?
Today we have an episode for you guys where we will talk a little bit about some beginning of the year tips, I should say.
Yeah.
Even though now it's February, which is poor planning skills on our part, I will admit. But like I mentioned in the last episode, I did get sick for like half of January, so we didn't have a lot of time to get it done in the actual beginning month of the year. But Chinese New Year is coming up, so let's
Close
say
enough.
it counts for that.
Yeah, sure, why not? Also hopefully you enjoyed our last episode, which was Student Rush. I mean, I know we touched a little bit on New Year's stuff on that episode, but mostly it was just interviews. So hopefully we can expand on, our topics this time and, really give you the episode that you were hoping for. Hopefully.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited for this one because we've had it planned now for like probably a month.
yeah, roundabout.
Because we wanted to do kind of like I mentioned, it's a beginning of the year episode just to give you some tips and tricks on how to stick to your New Year's resolutions, if you've made any, how to stay motivated for this new year, because I know sometimes just getting back into the swing of things can be really hard. And even though it has been a bit into the semester so far, it's like it can never hurt to have these reminders. And I think now is as good as a time as any to get this episode out there, and so you guys can get your new year going right.
Yeah. And so with that, why don't you start us off? We got the hat method back.
Yes,
so
we have the hat again, which I know it's a method we've used a lot, but if it's if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Yes. And sometimes you mess up your words, and that's okay. Okay, so the first number is... Oh, how appropriate. I got number 1.
Oh, hey.
Okay, so our first tip for the new year and sticking to your New Year's resolutions, and just in general, when you have some goals that you're trying to stick to, is to create a roadmap of the goals and challenges you'd like to accomplish this year. So that way, if you have them all written out clearly in front of you, kind of like maybe even if it's just like in your phone, you write down, I want to do this and this and this. At least you have them right in front of you, so it's easier for you to stick to them because you get reminded of them.
Yeah. One of the ways I like to think about this is like, sort of hierarchy of needs. You ever heard of that? Like the whole thing, you need
it's like that
food,
pyramid.
water, shelter to have, so and so. When it comes to goals, I like to think of it like that. I need to have this goal done by this amount of time to, further with this goal and stuff like that. So just break up your goals into smaller goals is what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, that does make sense. It's like maybe sometimes you have a lot of stuff that you want to accomplish, but having all those thoughts jumbled around in your head can be a little confusing. So even if you make your own little pyramid of needs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just right, I want to do this first and foremost, and these second, and then these are kind of more, not saying they're not important, but they're less important than my big goal.
Yeah,
basically.
I mean, for me, it's like, I want to try doing some more creative stuff this year, and to do that, I need to clean my room first, and so get more free time and money and stuff, so I can invest that into my goals.
Endeavors.
So endeavors, that's a good word for it. So yeah.
Okay, so
Anyways.
What's our next number?
Next number is a 12. So let's see what
Give us a
question 12
second.
is.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. 12. If you don't have any big goals for the year, set a goal for each day, week, month, so you can have something to strive towards, and it'll keep you motivated. So in other words, if you want to study for like 30 minutes a night or, turn at least one assignment in before the due date this week, yeah, those are good examples of, just smaller goals that you can do to help strive towards your big goals.
Yeah. And I kind of like this one because, like I said, sometimes you can have so many thoughts just jumbling around in your brain that you're like, I don't even know what to focus on. So picking out something to do each day or each month or each week is just a good way to kind of compartmentalize. And sometimes it helps to have it just be, I'm going to do this today, you know what I mean? Or I'm going to do this week instead of I want to do this big old thing for the year. You know what I mean? Because it seems a little more attainable when you put it like that.
And on that note, if you don't have any big goals, like at all, if you don't have anything like huge planned this year, that's fine too. Just if you feel like accomplishing something, look towards that, even if
Yeah.
it's just something small, like, just doing laundry or the dishes every week.
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
Sometimes my goal is to make it through the day. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's enough.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, our next one is 6. Okay, so this tip says, when you have goals or you're trying to make them, you should visualize them inside your head, which kind of ties into number 1, because if you have them all laid out in front of you and you see them, then you develop a more positive mindset when it comes to accomplishing them. Sometimes it can help you overcome roadblocks to achieving them.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot about, athletes and stuff and musicians visualizing their goals before, performances or events and stuff like that. Just successful people tend to visualize success is what I'm getting at. So if you are constantly just thinking, man, I'm going to fail at this, I'm going to do bad, I'm going to suck, it's going to be horrible, then, you're probably not going to do as great as you would have if you would just, tried to give yourself a little grace and be a little positive. So don't freak out if you have something big to accomplish.
A quote I really like is, I think it says, a negative mind will never give you a positive life. And I super agree with that.
That's fun.
Because if you're thinking negative all the time about everything, that's the energy you're putting out, and therefore that's the energy that's going to come back at you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you see your goals in your mind, I'm going to do this one day, and you talk about it as if it's going to happen, then chances are something along the lines of that, or even that specific goal, is going to happen.
Yeah, go out and manifest it, essentially, is what we're saying. So, our next question is number 13, which is, surround yourself with people who will encourage you and not tear you down. Having a good support system, whether it's classmates, friends, family, professors, etc., will help you achieve your goals much more easily than on your own. Most things in life are team effort, and it's good to have a team. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I super agree with this one. This one is one of my favorite tips that we had written down, because I will always try to get across that it's very important to have people in your life. Humans are social creatures. We need people in our lives. And even if it's just one person, you know what I mean? As long as you have someone who will, make you feel better about the day you've had, I think that's worth it.
Yeah, of course. For me, I got my family and my girlfriend and my friends. So, shout out to you guys. I got Emma here, the co-host. So
oh, yeah.
Shout out to Emma.
Shout out to her. She sounds really cool. I'm just kidding, but yeah.
Yeah.
And me and Ellie actually coined a little term that we've been saying to each other, because we had a talk at the beginning of the semester where we were like, man, we need to lock in this semester. So tell us what the term is.
We are accountability buddies now.
Yes, which just means buddies who keep each other accountable.
Yeah.
Because sometimes just having little silly things like that in your life is what it takes to lock in. You know what I mean?
It helps too, because if I'm ever slacking off, I'm like, man, what would my accountability buddy think?
Exactly. What would your accountability buddy think? Yes, I like having little things like that help you get through things.
Yeah, of course.
And I really like that we have written down most things in life are a team effort, so it's good to have a team, because, literally sometimes things are so much more easy if you do them with people, or even you just have people to rant to about it after. You know what I mean?
Yeah, one of the things I've learned about college is that you hardly ever do anything alone. It's crazy, so.
But it's kind of fun that way. I don't want to walk to lunch alone, so... But then I think, wait, I don't have to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's nice. So.
Okay, so our next one is number 4, which says, set realistic goals so you're not disappointed when you don't meet your expectations. This is just an example I had written down, but don't make your goal for the day, I want to do 1,000 push-ups a day, because I don't know about you, but I don't know a lot of people or anyone that can do 1,000 push-ups in a day. Instead, your goal should probably be, I want to do 10 push-ups today.
I'm sitting right here.
Well, okay, maybe Ellie, but just make sure it's something that you can reasonably achieve. Sometimes, I'm not saying don't shoot for the stars, but just give yourself that little safety net of not being disappointed when something doesn't work out because it's super unrealistic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, for example, I have a goal of being rich and famous one day, But realistically, I know that's not going to happen overnight. I mean, I have to work towards that goal and stuff. So, whether it's PR and marketing or, diversifying my skill set or, some other step along that way, I can't just become rich and famous overnight.
Yeah. And that's exactly my point. You can't just say, tomorrow I will be rich and famous without doing anything to get there.
Sadly.
So, and if you set super unrealistic goals like that all the time, then you're going to be disappointed all the time, which discourages you further. So, set realistic goals for yourself.
Yeah. Anyways, our next number is number 10, which is, don't expect everything to change in your life in one sitting. Change takes time and perseverance. So essentially that means, if you are slowly working towards this goal, don't expect it to be overnight. I mean, this kind of ties into the last thing we were talking about.
This is what we were just talking about.
Yeah. If something that you're working towards is slow going, don't be discouraged because that's to be expected. I mean, no one achieves their dreams overnight pretty much. So, yeah, it's perfectly normal to be going at a slow pace. Just as long as you're going towards that goal, you're doing good.
And it's also important to remember that your pace is not your neighbor's pace because it can be super easy to compare yourself to your peers. Like, say I'm in a marketing class and everyone else in my marketing class has worked for a company and marketed already in the real world. But I haven't done that, but that's okay because the only person I should be focusing on in that situation is myself. You know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure I say this like every episode now, but comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes, comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
We're going to keep saying it until everyone says, yes, that is correct, and I should stop comparing myself to the best of my ability. Because we're only human, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next one says, wait, actually, this one ties right into what we were just talking about. Cool. This one says to give yourself grace, which is another thing we say all the time. Because what's another thing we say all the time? Progress isn't linear.
Yeah. So it's okay to fall down and get back up. Just keep working at it. Once again, progress not overnight. And even if you make substantial progress, there's a chance that all that progress can get erased somehow. And that's discouraging, but it doesn't mean you should always give up. It just means, you got to get back on that horse.
Yeah. So. It just means that life is a roller coaster. Sometimes things happen. It doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And once again, give yourself grace.
Of course, yeah.
It's literally okay to mess up sometimes. Everyone does it. Even if someone seems like they're perfect, they're not. I promise you.
Yeah, keep on keeping on. We believe in you. So.
And it doesn't matter that you fall down. It only matters how you get back up.
Of course. Okay. So our next point is number 5, which is when creating a goal for yourself, ask what do I realistically need to accomplish this in my given time frame, and then create a roadmap for that goal. It's nice to have a way to track your goal. Just help you see how far you're going, and or going to accomplish it. Anyway,
yeah. Sorry. We've kind of already said this multiple times in this episode already, but it really does help to just have it written out in front of you somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if it's just a little note on your phone with check marks and you can click, check, I did that thing today. You know what I mean? Because I personally like having, what's the word? Proof. Yeah. I like having proof of my progress so far just so I can be like, oh my gosh, I did so much this week. You know what I mean? Like, even if it's like when you turn in an assignment on Canvas and it gives you that little confetti burst, I'm like, oh my god, yeah, I did that. I got confetti. You know what I mean?
I love the confetti. That makes me feel so good.
Yes, exactly. Just little things like that. Even if it's something as silly as the screen giving you confetti when you turn in an assignment on time.
For me, I think the thing that's helped me the most in completing any goal ever is my clock app and my notes app, because I can set alarms and timers for that, so I can know when I need to do things by, and it helps me to get reminded of things I'm supposed to be doing. And then for the notes app, I can just click those little bullet notes and it automatically checks it off, and it's just so nice. So yeah, it's really nice to have visual representation for whatever you're doing. So,
yeah. Okay, so number 11 is the number I drew, and this one says, it's okay if you don't achieve your goals that you've set as long as you're trying your best. Because sometimes that's all you can do. Sometimes a lot of stuff will happen to you all at once, and maybe it's just you don't have it in you to do the thing right now. You know what I mean? Life happens. That's natural. And sometimes it'll knock you down, and sometimes you'll be super discouraged. But what really counts at the end of the day is that you were trying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, not everyone is going to achieve every single goal they set out to achieve ever. I mean, failure is inevitable for all of us in some regards, I think. And it's okay, just, as long as you're trying.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
And even though failing at things does suck, sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes you look back at things that you failed at and you realize, oh, well, actually it's a good thing that I failed at that because it led me to this, you know what I mean? And this turned out to be a much better thing for my life, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I remember when I was first applying for jobs, I was super discouraged because I couldn't find any work anywhere. And then, it finally got to the point where I started working here. And now I have a podcast, and it's going pretty good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, don't be discouraged to fail. Just make sure you're trying.
Yeah. And try your best. Sometimes that's all you can do, and that's okay.
Yeah. Anyways, our next bullet point is number 8, which is... find little ways to reward yourself when you meet certain goals. Depending on the difficulty of the goal you're searching to achieve, you could have a wide variety of rewards. That'd be like taking yourself out somewhere nice, having a small celebration, get together, or some other activity that would, just incentivize you to do well.
Yeah, because when you, even like I was saying earlier, even if it's just a little confetti burst on the screen, you know what I mean? Sometimes just having that little reward for doing something really well is like, oh my gosh, I did it, so that means I should try to do more things well so I can get another one, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's, if I'm doing an assignment or something like that and I have some snacks nearby, I'm like, I can't have those snacks until I'm done with the assignment.
Yes, that's actually, I do that too. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I really want to watch TikTok right now. But then I'm like, wait, no, I have to finish this assignment and then I can. Yeah. Then when I'm scrolling, I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm so lazy. Why am I on TikTok instead of doing my homework? I'm like, yeah, I did my homework, so now I get to watch TikTok.
Yeah, and then, extra ways to really help you incentivize yourself. There are a bunch of apps people make that, really help to keep track of your progress and certain goals. So, maybe you get something that inhibits you from doing whatever you want to do until you've finished the thing you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a little bit extreme
maybe, but
if you really want to try it.
I think you should try to find whatever works for you.
I think
there's a lot of resources out there that you can use to look for something like that. So, yeah. And even if your celebration is just like literally, like I just said, watching TikTok, you know what I mean? It still makes you proud of yourself for doing the thing, and it makes you want to do more things in the future so you can feel like that about yourself again.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next point is... Wait, I think it's your turn to read it.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
I might be wrong, but sometimes you mess up, and that's okay.
Oopsies. Okay. So yeah, our next point, is number 2. Keep a physical reminder of your goals around so you can see the progress you're making to accomplish them. So, this is good advice. I mean, we already kind of covered this in a couple of our other points, but, it's nice to have, like, a whiteboard or a chart or some sticky notes or something just to, give you a little physical reminder of what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and I actually need to take my own advice on this one, which is something, sometimes when we're doing this, I realize I'm like, oh, that's actually a really good idea. I should do that. So I've actually been meaning to go to the store and buy a little whiteboard to put on my wall so then I can write on it like, this assignment is due on Friday for this class. This assignment is due on Thursday for this class. You know what I mean? So then when I wake up, the very first thing I'll see is this is due, this is due. Then it's on my mind, then I'll get it done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, I remember when I was younger, I used to have this little wall of sticky notes to, like, help me kind of remember things that I was supposed to be doing at the time. And, I mean, granted, it didn't really work because I was, like, 10 last time I tried it.
But maybe now that she's 20, it will work.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's worth a shot. So
maybe you should think of the things that you did as a kid and implement them now.
Yeah. Oh, and another thing that Emma enlightened me towards was a little Canvas extension.
From, yeah. So I downloaded this thing on my Canvas. It's called Tasks for Canvas. Yeah, that's what it's called. Where it gives you like little progress bars for like getting assignments done for each class, and then when you complete all your assignments for the week, it gives you confetti, which I think is super fun because like I mentioned earlier, the confetti is one of my favorite parts about Canvas. So, and it really does, that's one way I visualize getting my work done because I can see the little progress bar filling up as they get assignments done.
Yeah, I mean, so if you're struggling with like maybe assignments and stuff like that, especially this new year, maybe get into or look into getting something like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. And even just something simple like that, it takes 2 seconds to download onto your computer. Or not even onto your computer, onto your Google Chrome. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so maybe look into it if you're having a hard time.
Yeah, maybe just even like we've said before, the Notes app on your phone, you can get sticky notes, you can get a whiteboard, you can put a little note on your car seat, and then when you get in your car, you're like, what's that saying? And then, oh, I didn't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just whatever helps you stay on track. So,
yeah, like we said earlier, whatever works for you will work for you. Yeah. Okay, so I think this has to be our last one because I think we're running out of time, but I got number 9, which I'm actually really glad that this is the last one that we pulled because it says, know that you don't have to follow hashtag New Year, New You. Which basically means you can make the decision to change whenever. And you don't have to place this super big amount of pressure on yourself that comes with the New Year's and stuff like that to change because you can decide to change literally whenever.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know a lot of pressure is put on people, like especially near the first of the month of the new year because everyone's doing all their resolutions and stuff and just really aspiring to be better or something like that. But, you know, it's okay to not subscribe to that. No one's forcing you to.
Yeah.
I know for me, like, I was a little apprehensive to do stuff last year. And so in the middle of the year, I was like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to try to get out of my comfort zone a little bit. And that's fine. You can just do it whenever.
Yeah, the funny thing about life is that it keeps going. You know what I mean? You don't have to change on New Year's, and you don't have to change at all if you don't want to. You know what I mean? Just be yourself, do what works for you. And even though there might be a lot of pressure to do a lot of these things, you don't have to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Take your own road, like we've said, and do what works for you.
Yeah. And so on that note, it's been a very nice, you know, well, second episode back, I guess. But
yeah.
First episode for the new year related stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And we are very glad to be back, like we said last week. And I'm excited to see you guys in a next week. Wait, no, 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Sometimes the time frame is a little confusing in my brain, but
if you see us around campus, you know, feel free to say hi. We'll probably be doing some more interview events this year. So if you're a professor and you're listening to this and you would like to be on our show, please reach out. We would love to have you on.
Yes, that would be super cool.
And if you have anything important to talk about too, doesn't have to be a professor. Just, you know, email us.
Yeah.
Give us a call.
Okay.
So,
So that pretty much wraps up our episode for today. We hope that you guys have a great day.
Yeah. And we will all see you on another episode of Campus Chronicles.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.